Okay, quick one today. Hey, oh, I know what I wanted to do. Hang on. Look at this. I have this new little thing and I want to wear it because nobody can hear me. Here we go. So, let's see. Is that better? I forgot to put it on. Okay, addiction, recovery, and awareness and consciousess and freedom. Kind of the subject matter of my talks in the morning before I read a little bit from this book, the 24-hour day book. So it would seem, that uh, to me anyway, I can't, it's almost impossible for me to understand anymore why we wouldn't choose to pursue recovery. That would, to me, that's like, why would we not choose to pursue recovery if we're alcoholic or addict, it and people are there saying, hey, it's here, we can have it. Why would we not pursue it? Have you ever asked that? I mean, if you're a family of an addict or an alcoholic, I'm sure you've asked it. You've said it millions of times. Why won't he go? Why won't he go to meetings? Why won't he go to, or she or they? Why won't they? Stop using or drinking? And I want to tell you. I mean, it seems so easy to us. It seems so easy to me because I have it. I've been in recovery for a long time, and I have a deeper sense of it than I've ever had now, and a deeper consciousness of it than I've ever had. But there's two reasons I believe that we don't. One is fear. The addict and the alcoholic is terrified, just terrified, and of of waking up, of responsibility, of, oh my God, what would happen, of the unknown. And much of that, if we were to investigate and look deeper in it, lots of it came as a result of trauma. And, that fear, that deep-seated fear, you know, and for those of us who have a relationship with a higher power or consciousness, or we get that there's a guiding light in the universe, and that we can access that guiding light and have a sense of ease and calm on a regular basis. It seems ludicrous that we would live in pain and fear if we could live in peace and harmony. But it's there. And so our job with the addict and the alcoholic is to be there, to calmly listen, to love. Love is the healer. Love melts all fear. You know, love brings hope. Hope is a big piece of it. I have a sponsee I was talking to the other day, and I told him, we were deep in the conversation. I said, look, if you keep going this way, you're going to die. Period, full stop. No, that's it. You're going to die. And he said, well, you're not giving me much hope. And I said, well, no, there is no hope on that road. There really is no hope on that road. So, I was really clear with him, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it, but he knows that I love him and that I care, and that I'm, my goal is um, to point in the direction of this conscious contact, and we, those of us who get to work with addicts and alcoholics, we do love them. We fall in love with them all the time. They're beautiful people, and it's difficult when they can't grasp it, when they're saying, oh my God, I can't see this, you know, universal intelligence, you're talking to me about this. God consciousness, you're talking to me about this. This awareness, even this. I often describe this source of power that we need, because our problem is our powerlessness, as love. Love is, fills everything. So honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, those are the keys. They're indispensable. So if you're, what's the thing that we need to be honest about? Well, we need to be honest that we need help. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's you know, the the beginning. That we're powerless and we need help. Is that, if you want to know where to, when in the 12 steps we say how honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. What's the honesty about? We need help. Okay, the alcoholic needs help, and if you're an alcoholic in recovery, or if you're working with alcoholics in recovery, you have friends or family that are alcoholics, even if they're not in recovery, know that they need help. They cannot recover on their own. The eye cannot see the eye, and the sick mind cannot fix the sick mind, so that's the honesty. The open-mindedness is just to let go of prejudice, just to say, okay, I don't know how to fix myself, and so open to the possibilities. And if you go to like a 12-step meeting and you see hundreds of people, in recovery, you've got to be open-minded to the possibility that there's a way, right? And be willing to try, willing to look at new ideas, willing to live in the fact that we don't know. The other day I talked about Carl Gustav Jung. Jung was a psychiatrist and an amazing thinker around the turn of the century and early in the 1900s. And Jung was the one that set us on the course of this huge psychic change that was necessary. And at the time when Jung said that, that alcoholics and addicts were getting recovery through, spiritual means or through a complete psychic change, he had not seen it. Somebody was just sharing that with me. He'd never actually had a recovered addict or an alcoholic. I imagine what it would be like, today for him to come to a small meeting and listen to the symptoms of the people in just a small meeting, 10 people who are in recovery, and see that they all came back from a hopeless state of mind and body, and into recovery. So that's my message. It can happen. And for the families, my heart goes out to you. I'm here for you. I'd love to hear your story. If you think your story would help others, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to share it in a small interview. So keep that in mind if you think your story would help others. And I think that's just about it. I'm going to read now from our little book. What day is it? What day is it? I never know what day it is. March the 6th. And we're going to read from the 24-hour day book. March the 4th, March the 5th, March the 6th. So this book was written in 1954. It's a pretty sweet book, and I love reading from it. And it's very 12-step based. And I want to also say that self-knowledge is important. Self-knowledge won't save us on its own, but it doesn't mean that we can't come to know ourselves, our triggers, those things are, that's all important. Or it doesn't mean that we can't look at trauma. I think trauma is really, more and more I'm becoming aware of the fact that trauma is like this weld spot. We got, terror welded in, or I'm not good enough welded in by trauma, by so an event or several events that locked it in, that I'm unworthy, or the world is not a safe place. There's many things that get welded in by trauma, and love and understanding can melt that. Awareness can melt that. Realizing that it's there can melt it. Many of us don't know that it's there, the beliefs that came out of trauma, because we can't see it. We think that we can't see ourselves that way. So sometimes we need to talk to professionals to kind of crack that stuff loose, and so we can detox those old belief systems. Okay, March the 6th. In the 12-step world, it says we must surrender. We must surrender, yes. That's honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Give up, admit that we're helpless. Yes, honesty. We surrender our lives to a higher power, to universal intelligence, to the Father of light, to God. We ask him for help. Boom. When he knows that we are ready, he gives us, by his grace, the free gift of sobriety. You know, and he's talking in a bit of a metaphor, because this universal intelligence doesn't necessarily isn't something that we're praying to. You know, Bill Wilson said, down deep inside of every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. You know, where do we search inside of ourselves to find that connection, that oneness? So it's not out there, it's in here. Okay, we've spent our whole lives looking out there for that peace, and it didn't work. With drink and drugs and work and food and sex and all of those things didn't fill us up, you know. So it's in here. We can't, the free gift of sobriety, we can't take credit for having stopped drinking, because we didn't do it by our own willpower. There's no place for pride or boasting. We can only be grateful to God for doing for us what we could never do for ourselves. So that's the deal. That's recovery, baby. Meditation for the day. I must hang on a second. Meditation for the day. I must work with God and through God's help, by doing all that I can to bring about a true brotherhood of men. I am working for God. I am also working with God, because this is the way God works, and he is with me when I'm doing such work. I cannot do good work, however, without God's help. In the final analysis, it's through the grace of God that any real change in human personality takes place. I have to rely on God's power, and anything I accomplish is through his help. You know, that's amazing. I interviewed a fellow yesterday who's really got a vision to help the homeless situation in the world, and you know, predominantly here in Alberta, but a homeless situation, and he's really has a vision for helping Indigenous people and any homeless, and helping men. He's got a big vision, and helping fellas coming out of jail that want to go to treatment, and you know, with the bare necessities, but the foundation of that, though, is love, or this, you know, or God, and you can see it in his work, you know, and that's what gives us strength, is the love, and or God, or universal intelligence. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may work for God and with God. I pray that I may be used to change human personalities, my own, through God's help. So yes, love, baby. That's how I see that. Okay, we're going to do like a real short meditation. So just drop in. You know, the whole reason that I do this is it's like a daily practice. So whenever you watch this through the day, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch some from the past if you want. But it's a practice to open our mind, to, you know, create awareness, and then to also create consciousness of this universal intelligence, this, you know, through this conversation. And there's many ways to do this, but the next thing that we're going to do, this short meditation, is just to drop in. You know, if we're going to find, you know, discover who we are, we have to drop in and you know, be still for a few minutes to discover who we are. So let's do that, and it becomes a practice. Many people in the recovery community, addiction community, say, "Oh, I can't meditate. What are you talking about? I can't get my mind to stop." Well, guess what? None of us get our minds to stop. What happens, though, is we learn to not ignore it, but to not get attached to thought. We let thoughts just kind of float. You know, I'm never in trouble with thoughts if I don't attach to them. And of course, I'm more attached to thoughts if I have a lot of wants. And so I have very few wants these days. What do I don't really want anything. Nothing is missing. Everything is perfect in this moment. When I'm here now, present, everything is perfect. Nothing is missing. So there's no wants. And without wants, then it's easy to not be attached to thoughts. So just drop in this moment. Nothing is missing. Wherever you're sitting, wherever you are, if you're in a car, please pull over. Just drop in. Oh my. Sometimes one of the ways that we can come into the moment is to bring our consciousness or awareness or focus into our body. Recognize that you're in a body. And we'll start kind of from the bottom and work our way up. But, bring our consciousness or awareness into our feet, and into our ankles, and into our calves, to our knees. Just bring our attention. We're going to work our way up. Feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs. Just bring our attention into there. And as our attention comes in, just feel them, all those parts of our bodies just kind of relaxing and just dropping down to our hips, to our butt, to our lower back. Just to feel our body starting to kind of power down a little bit. There's a tension that's in our body often. We can just let it go now for a couple of minutes. Just drop it to our shoulders, to our neck. Bring our attention, focus into our neck, to our skull, to that point on our forehead between our eyebrows. Just focus there for a minute. To our eyes, just relax our eyes in our sockets. To your nose, just feel the breath come in through your nose. Bring our attention to our lips, our tongue, our jaw, down the front of our neck, into our chest, into our lungs. Feel our breath come into our lungs. To our heart, kind of our metaphoric love center. Feel our heart pumping life-giving blood, life-giving love into our bodies, into our whole system. Oxygen, blood. Come back to our shoulders, just feel our collarbones, and then out to our shoulders, and then down, to our arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, to our hands. Feel the back of our hands and the front and our palms, our fingers. Bring our attention to our fingers, our thumbs. And just imagine as we move back up our arms, into our shoulders, that this white light, this beautiful love, fills up our whole body, completely still, completely full. thoughts come up, just come back to our breath. Let them go gently. Just be very gentle. Let it go. Okay. You can come back when you're ready, or don't come back. Just stay in this quiet space for as long as you like. And I'm going to leave you. Love you. And we'll talk again. Love it if you go to my YouTube page and subscribe. Thanks. Love you lots. Bye.